And here it comes! Ah! Ah!
What the nani?
It's Tim,
It's David.
and we're Worth It Fridays. Hope you guys like our intro, because dang, I know it took us so long to get a review of Monster Hunter Rise, and here it is, finally, after 75 hours of our game. It took us to beat the story boss. Not the village quest story boss, where I think you can roll the credits pretty fast, but the one where it involves going into the hub quest and killing the so-called what is it called? The electric.
The lightning goddess dragon thingy.
Yes, that.
Something like that. Yeah.
So that was what we called to kind of be like, oh, we beat the final boss of the base game. I know as of this review, there is update 2.0 with more monsters, and update 3.0 which adds even more story or another ending. So we're just kind of reviewing mainly the base part, but we know that there are the updates which just makes the game better at this point, right? So shall we get on with the review, David?
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's finally start the review here.
Let's start with the
All
review.
right.
But also, disclaimer, we are reviewing this as essentially newcomers to the series, as I've only put in like very little hours to World, and this is David's first Monster Hunter. So take that as you will.
All right. Here we go. Monster Hunter Rise is an action RPG game that sends players to explore the beautiful Kamura village. Hunters will be given the opportunity to hunt amazing and massive monsters. After hunters equip their armors and select one of the various weapons type, the game provides all new hunting grounds for players to explore. Hunters can tackle these challenges solo or with up to 3 other players in local or cooperative online play.
For the first time ever in a Monster Hunter game, wire-based grappling actions can be performed by using Wirebug, while standing or in midair, adding an all-new level of aerial mobility to hunting strategies and attacks, which creates the game to be more fast-paced.
The game also provides new pets now, canine companions. Yes, not just cats. Now you can have a dog that you can ride and fight with, and you can drift with them. Yes, you can drift.
The game also provides a new challenge mode called Rampages, where it's similar to tower defense gameplay, as hunters have to use their weapons, cannons, drills, arrows, and many more weapons to defend the village from the mob of monsters.
Another thing Monster Hunter Rise provides is that the game offers a classic and previous monsters from other games of Monster Hunter, as well as new monsters exclusively for Monster Hunter Rise like Magnamola.
This game was developed by Capcom and was released on March 26, 2021 on the Nintendo Switch. PC version will be released sometime in 2022. Now, let's talk about the story. The story is interesting enough for players to get into monster hunting. However, the story of Monster Hunter Rise is the weakest part of the game. The story doesn't have, amazing character development that makes the player really care about each other. But having said that, the game is strongly based on the gameplay rather than the story. So the game has its cool moments, like where the scary monsters come out of nowhere and start terrorizing people in the village, and the monster's intro cutscenes show how scary the monster is, describing it in like some sort of haiku. Having said that, the game is still being updated, which means more monsters and possibly more story can be added to Monster Hunter Rise.
Now for gameplay and content. The gameplay of Monster Hunter Rise is really what makes the game shine. The controls are very simple to do, but hard to master. The game provides so many weapons that it can be hard to choose from. That is a good thing though, because it provides many varieties for players to choose. Adding a silk wire bug mechanic really enhanced the fighting experience when hunting monsters. As well, adding a new pet, the dog, to join the hunters to make fighting the monsters a lot faster. As well as there's so much content in the game that it really grows by continuing its updates. There are so many weapons to craft from each weapon class, jewels to make them to increase your stats and your skills, and many armors to craft specifically to the hunters. And as well as you can make cool armors for your cats or your dog. Having that said, the gameplay is very grindy, as the items that are needed to craft these items are based on random drops from specific monsters. However, this can be a positive incentive to hunt again, either solo or with friends. In addition, the game co-op shines the most in Monster Hunter Rise because anyone can literally join the hunt at anywhere and at any time.
On to the graphics. The graphics of the game are amazing for the Switch. Not every detail is added to the hunting grounds, but it is enough to show off how scary the monster is that you are hunting. And even though the graphics are lacking compared to Monster Hunter World, for example, it's still pretty good enough to play at home or on the go.
Now for the cost, we at Worth It Friday, we deem the price of this game worth it for the full price.
For the criticisms, again, David has said this before, the game is pretty grindy. You're gonna be running lots of materials to craft your weapons, to craft your armor, and the learning curve of the weapons themselves can be pretty hard depending on some weapons. Some weapons are harder than others, so it just depends on your playstyle. Players will need Nintendo Online to play with others, but there is local available, assuming everyone has their own copy of the game. There's a lot of tutorial, but we feel like it still kind of sucks at explaining everything, so things can still get confusing. But if you have someone or friends that know how to play the game or are very used to Monster Hunter systems, they're very helpful. Lastly, rampages in this game are very hit or miss, as it's like a tower defense thing, but it doesn't really fit the monster hunting style, so it's okay. We at Worth It Fridays, we rate this game an 8 out of 10. Awesome.
Awesome! Overall, Monster Hunter Rise is an awesome game that provides many contents for players to use when hunting monsters and making themselves powerful hunters or looking awesome in their armor that they created. With its new wire block mechanics or new pet joining the hunt, really makes the hunt a lot more faster pace and very exciting. The game really shines by providing players, again, at any time and anywhere without any limitations.
However, the story really lacks good storytelling and character development. So if you're expecting some story or something like that, this isn't the game. But thankfully, the gameplay is able to compensate for that loss. Our only complaints, of course, is that the game can be a bit grindy, which, depending on your type of player, can be a deal breaker. That is our review of Monster Hunter Rise. Finally, after the game came out, and this take us 75 in-game hours, we finally did it. It's a really awesome game, I think. And if you're a Switch owner out there, most likely this is like one of those games that is probably pick up unless you just don't like the, I guess, boss hunting genre, which is hard to get into sometimes.
Again, like Tim mentioned, like it's very text heavy, especially with tutorials, so it can be very, very intimidating. Like you have this one section to explain how quests work, and it's just like a whole paragraph, and you're like, all right.
Yeah, so reading tutorials can be a pain, but if you do have friends that have played the game or have played other games and going into this one, and they're willing to help you, that also helped us in a sense too, as we had a friend who has previously played like Monster Hunter World, so he was an expert, and it just helped us get along, showing us mechanics or weapon styles, combos, stuff like that. So it's really easy to get into with a friend, of course. And then from there, we just enjoyed kind of the rest of the journey on our own, which is pretty good. Mm-hmm. And we still have more to play.
Yes.
So if you guys have made it this far into the video, we appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a like. That shows us that you've enjoyed this video. And click the subscribe button and as well as the notification button, as we try to release videos when we can, if not weekly. We also have a Facebook page and an Instagram, links in the description below, as we like to post updates or things gaming related that we find worth your Fridays.
Yeah, thanks again, guys, and then we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Bye. I think there's a monster coming. Do you hear that?
Here it comes. Bye, bro.